All right, so if you just watched the 1-point perspective, then you remember that there is a vanishing point. The vanishing point is eye level. Receding parallel lines line up with the vanishing point. I typically say they appear to converge at the vanishing point. When they are receding and they're moving away from you, that's the spot where they would ultimately disappear. If you imagine walking to a city street and you're at the corner of a building and you can see down both roads, that's a 2-point perspective. If you're really being technical and you're looking up at the buildings as well, they're going to recede into the sky. It's a 3-point perspective. So in real life, it can get very complicated. Everything that is not parallel to other things is going to have its own vanishing point, but for our purposes, we're going to keep it real simple. So you're going to be using a 2-point perspective to create a set of stacked boxes, and we're going to turn those boxes into presents. But I'm going to first show you how to do this. I'm going to put a vanishing point on each side of my paper. 2-point perspective, 2 vanishing points. And then I'm going to create some stacked boxes. The first thing that I'm going to do is make the vertical lines for them. These are going to need some small adjustments, but that's how I'm going to start this off. And I'm going to make a large one at the bottom. Again, I'm going to do this upside down so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to put another one here, and then I'll put a tiny one up here. Now, they're not going to be perfect yet. They certainly don't look like boxes yet. And again, if I were doing this in pencil, I would have an easier time, but that's just a framework. So now, all the receding parts, so that's the lines that are moving away from you, are going to go to the vanishing point. But you have to kind of be careful because you don't want them to not line up with each other. So I'm going to start by doing both sides of my middle box, because in my middle box's case, the vanishing point runs through it, so that the top is above the vanishing point and the bottom is below the vanishing point, so I know both sides are going to be visible. I realize that's a complicated concept, youngsters, but stay with me. And then I'm going to do the other side as well. And these don't have to be square boxes. Like, they can be rectangular boxes. There's no reason for you to worry that both sides are the same length. Right now, I just want you to kind of get the feel for drawing a box. And then I'm going to, so now see how this is looking like a box, but these don't touch it. Like, that needs to come down further in order to touch it. So I'm going to pull this line down to meet the box top. Whoops, I messed it up a little bit. Try to smooth that out a little bit there. And then I'm going to add the top of this box. The top of this box is the only part that shows, because the middle box overlaps the bottom of this box. And then now that box looks like it's sitting on top of this box. This bottom box is going to bump into this spot right here. You're going to have to play around with these because each of your situations are going to be a little bit different. It's all going to kind of depend on how long you make each center line. Whoops. So I went out too far on this, but I don't want to have that line there. So I'm going to make this one longer. You know, I'm going to make it even longer. And then I'm going to close that off. Close this off. But you can see that this bottom box looks incomplete, right? This top line is receding in this direction. So everything to the left pulls to the right, everything to the right pulls to the left, because remember, if they're receding, they're going to the vanishing point. So this would have to recede to this, to this vanishing point. Everything's backwards on my computer screen. So I line this up with this vanishing point, and it stops where it touches the other box. Now they don't look like presents yet, and this one definitely looks like it's going to fall off of the bottom one, but you get the idea. Now I'll develop this a little bit with some ribbon, and then you'll be able to see where we're going with the presents. Give it a try.